that record holds out with Hamilton leading by 20.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Grand Prix Podcast. I'm Elton, this is Andy.
Hello!
And we're here to talk about the Brazilian Grand Prix for 2018 in the Interlagos, Sao Paulo.
Oh yes, the classic Brazilian Grand Prix, which has given us some spectacular races, championship deciders, and some snooze fests.
Oh, okay. Am I sensing something already?
No, you're not.
Oh, okay. God.
I was throwing a curveball there.
Oh, okay. I was about to come down and, knock on your door.
Were you about to do a Medcalf?
No, I wouldn't do that. What, piss on a fox? No. No, you can't do that.
No, you can't. That's just cruel and unusual.
Every single listener now is sat there going, what? Piss on a fox? What does that mean?
Every single listener should go and listen to the Black Dog podcast.
Yeah.
From the beginning, because that happened like 300 episodes ago.
I couldn't even tell you when that happened.
No.
I have no idea. Anyway, yeah, okay. So, how did you feel about this race? Because
I enjoyed it.
I thought you were going to come in with a snooze one, but okay, you liked it.
I enjoyed this. No, this was good. This was since Ted used your word, I'll use it. This was a tasty one, wasn't it?
He did, didn't he?
He stole your word.
Cheeky sod.
Yeah, but no, this was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. There was frills and spills, and a little bit of UFC in the middle there as well.
Yeah, I think when we get down to actually talking about the race, we need to kind of skip ahead quite heavily.
Make no mistakes. There's one thing we're going to be primarily talking about, and then other stuff happens. So yeah, we will get to that. Fear not, gentle listeners. Fear not.
Cool. Because I really enjoyed this race. I thought it was really good. I had a headache all the way through it. I think there's something wrong with my diet on the weekends because I normally cop a headache on the Sunday for some reason. I don't know what that is. And
is it because you have to go to work again on a Monday?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be that, or it might be relief that I've just finished the week. It's somewhere in the middle there. There's some sort of grey area there that's really screwing me over. But even with that, I was still hooked on it all the way through. And not that there was lots of drama going on. There was enough to keep me entertained. And boy, oh boy, there was one big episode in the middle.
Oh, when it got to that, and then it was just like, hello.
What the hell? Okay, yeah, but I'm looking forward to talking about that because man, oh man, that's going to be causing some arguments, I think, up and down the place.
I fear it might. A little bit of the Queensbury rules, 1-2-1-2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But before we get into that, we'll talk about all the other stuff that went on. Was there any dramas in between the Mexico Grand Prix and this one?
It was a couple of bits and pieces, a few announcements were made. Let's see, big announcement. We found out in 2020 we're getting a Vietnamese Grand Prix in Hanoi. They released a picture of the circuit. Now, they do have a habit of announcing Grand Prix and we never see them. Miami, anyone. But I don't know. Looked all right from what I saw.
I like the look of it. Whether it'll float as well, I'm not too sure. Do you remember Korea?
Vaguely, yeah. We did like two seasons there, was it?
Yeah, 2 or 3. And I think
India as well.
Yeah, but Korea was, I'm not saying it was a similar sort of layout, but it had feelings of this track because there's a lot of straights in this track and there's a wiggly section.
Oh, a wiggly section.
Yeah.
Is that a technical term?
That is that. I think that's actually what they've written down in their book. Okay, yeah, you got to go through the wiggly section. And it's got all of that, and so did Korea. And Korea didn't really fly for me. So look, they're going to go there. They're not going to listen to me and not go there. I want them to go there. But just because Maggots and Beckett's work and the S's at Japan work, it doesn't mean that you can just lift them up and put them somewhere else and they'll work just as well.
Yes.
And that's what I feel that they're trying to create here. Because the wiggly bits on this circuit go through a car park.
Mm-hmm.
And
literally a car park. The cars are still going to be there. The cars are going to kind of like drive in and around them.
that would be brilliant, wouldn't it?
It would be.
That would be amazing. Parking attendants just having to jump out the way. Barriers. You have to go through an NCP barrier to get into that car park.
Ooh, do you think what Vettel was doing was maybe practice for that?
Oh. I'm looking forward to talk about that as well.
Yeah, there's quite a bit to talk about.
But, okay, the actual circuit, let's let them build it first, and then we'll enjoy it and see what happens. If it's bobbins, let's clear off.
Well, yeah, we'll see. Let's face it, the world is littered with tracks which hosted maybe 2 Formula One races, and then that was it.
Yeah.
So we will see. Other news: Rob Smedley is leaving Williams at the end of the year.
Yes, he is.
Any
idea where he's going?
He's not announced anything. Don't know if he's going to another team. I can't. He's too young to kind of be leaving Formula One. I'd have thought. So I imagine he'll be going somewhere else, but he's not really announced anything as yet.
I don't know. Maybe he's fallen out of love with it.
Possibly, but I feel it might just be frustration with Williams.
Yeah.
Because Lord knows I'm frustrated with Williams and I'm not even driving for him.
I wonder if he'd go Mclaren. No.
Oh, yes, because that's such a huge improvement in everything.
That's not going to be great, is it?
It's no, it's not. It's not. I don't know. We'll see. He's not announced anything. I'm sure in due course we'll hear he's showing up at another team. I don't know if it'll be one at the front or midfield, maybe. Maybe a Haas or something. Who knows?
Maybe like a Force India.
Maybe
that could work.
That could definitely work, especially since Stroll and his spawn are heading over there. So
is Stroll Jr. definitely going over there?
I think so. I think it's all been confirmed.
I don't remember hearing anything about that. Nothing's been confirmed for me.
Because I've got to tell you, if they don't, it is the best power move ever, and huge respect for his dad. Here you go, 2019 World Championship, Force India. No, only Perez is confirmed at the minute.
All right.
So we will see. We will see.
Okay.
Okay. Other news. Alonso is going to do the Indy 500 next year with McLaren.
Surprise, surprise.
But this isn't going to be a team up with Andretti. It's not going to be an Andretti team up. It's going to be a bespoke entry.
Oh, okay. So they're proper going full on McLaren.
For some reason, I suspect Honda didn't want to give him an engine.
I suspect Alonso wouldn't want a Honda in the back of his car.
Either way, they have to do it the old-fashioned way. So it'll be interesting. I mean, I think with IndyCar, though, since it's stock engines and stock chassis, it's I don't want to say easier, but there's a lot less disparity between the top teams and the bottom teams. You know, you're not quite as dependent on budget.
No. Well, you can budget it a lot better as well, can't you? Because it is, okay, buy this part, buy that part, put them together. We know they go together, but then we need a team to actually get to and from and make it go fast.
Yeah, I think the driver has a lot more input in the car than in, say, Formula One. Not to take away from any of the drivers in Formula One or any of the drivers in IndyCar. I'm just saying if you put a very fast driver in any IndyCar, he has a chance of winning. Whereas if you put a very fast driver in, let's say, a McLaren or Williams or a Minardi, any of these.
It doesn't matter really, does it?
Yeah, you're still coming at the back of the field. So.
Look at Sebastian Bourdais. He was like a 4 times IndyCar champion.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure if that was when it was proper IndyCar or whether it was IRL, but he rocked up, 4 times champion, didn't do anything.
Well, it was Takuma Sato won last, was it not this year's Indy 500, last year's one, the one that Alonso was in?
Yeah.
And all respect to him, but he never was really charging at the front of the field in Formula One, was he?
No, so, not by a long shot.
So I think it's less if a team was coming into Formula One saying they're doing a bespoke entry, and we'd be going like, it's one way to piss away a couple of million quid, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Also, Ericsson's going IndyCar next year.
Yeah, he's signed up. He's doing the full season, though, so he'll be there throughout. I don't think Alonso and McLaren are doing the full season. I think it's just the 500.
Right. Okay, well, we'll see how we go. I'm sure we'll watch it.
Oh, almost definitely, especially if it doesn't clash with anything else.
Yeah.
Unless it clashes with Monaco, in which case, fuck Monaco, I'm going to watch IndyCar.
So no, it'll be over by the time Monaco's over. Then it'll be starting.
I watched the pre-show. I'm watching anything other than that.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see. Is there any other news that we missed out on? We announced Kvyat in Toro Rosso last week out, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's still going on.
Oh,
Kubica might be in with a frame of the Williams seat.
Yeah, I heard about that. Well, he's got a choice between either doing the Williams seats or test driver for Ferrari. So one more go out in the car. Why not?
Oh, I was going to say, test driving Ferrari, that's a dead end for him. Because Ferrari are never going to put him in a race seat.
Of course they
All
not.
respect to him, but they're not.
No.
Whereas Williams in a race seat, you've got a chance to prove yourself, show that you still have it.
Yeah.
Although, granted, this is a Williams we're talking about. But if you could do some Alonso-esque drives, really kind of demonstrate he has pace. And let's give Paddy Lowe and all that benefit of the doubt. This was his first full season with the team, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know it takes about 3 years to really get a team going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ross Brawn showed that with Honda. He joined them in 2007, and they won the championship in 2009.
Yeah.
And they were nowhere in 2007.
No, that's right.
So, yeah, if it were me, I'd probably go with the Williams race seat, because the Ferrari test drive seat is that's a dead end, really.
Well, these guys want to race.
Exactly.
And so I'm sure he'd rather race at the back of the grid than never make it to the grid.
I mean, it used to be something back when you could test. And, like with Ferrari, every other weekend you'd be out at the Maranello circuit.
Yeah.
Just going round and round and round. But these days it's, we get 3 tests a year?
They do, but that's why we got FP1.
But how many times they will always, if they have the choice, they'll give their drivers the chance because they get more time on the track, don't they?
Yeah. They don't want someone up and coming bending their car for the rest of the weekend. Cool.
So yeah, I think that was all of the news between Mexico and now. At least it's all that kind of springs to mind.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to jump straight into free practice then, if you don't mind.
By all means.
Because I want to get to this race. I really want to get to this race. Okay, so FP1, nothing happened. FP2, we had Hulkenberg crash in a peculiar place.
Yes.
This was, I always forget the name of this corner, or, well, it's not that I forget, I can't pronounce it.
They have numbers as well.
T12. There we go.
There you go.
John Sao, I think it's called.
Yeah. Or one Sao? I don't know. Whatever.
I don't know.
Turn 12.
That's it, yeah. And Renault had been doing a weird thing of nicking a lot of the curb and then some. And Sainz was pretty much placing his right-hand wheels on the grass and then using the bump in the curb to jump the car and then give it more traction as it lands to get you more speed going up the hill. And Hulkenberg tried this and went a bit too far onto the grass, which then pulled him all the way over into the wall, and he wrote off the whole right-hand side of his car. So I don't think his Renault bosses were impressed with that one bit.
Oh no, that was an expensive rebuild.
Yeah.
Almost the entire side of a car was destroyed.
It's a pointless one as well, where you're trying to nick ever so slightly, and then nick from the grass as well. I think this is why we need a bit of grass around in some of these newer tracks instead of tarmac. Just to...
Wait, if you're implying all the drivers should be driving stoned, I think the FI might have some issues with that.
Oh, okay, well, maybe there should be like a straight and then a mashed series. People say that about the Olympics. There should be like a straight Olympics and then a mashed Olympics, and see how fast you really can run, and then not stop at the end of that run.
Maybe for the esports championships, you know?
Oh, I don't even consider that. That doesn't even exist to me. Even when Formula One, the channel actually show it. I'm paying for that channel, you know, guys. I'm paying for that, and you're showing me kids playing video games. I'm all right.
Oh, we're getting awfully close to a get off my lawn speech.
No, I'm already there. There. I pay for that. Someone's clearly streaming Twitch by accident on their feed. Idiots.
Damn kids today.
Get off. And free practice free, Lewis lost about half the session with an oil breather problem. Wow. Amazing. I thought that might trouble him for the rest of the weekend, but no, he didn't. Turns out.
He didn't.
No.
Hey.
Into qualifying, there was a threat of rain all the way through this qualifying, and I liked it because it makes everyone really, really jumpy.
It's what I quite like about the Brazil circuit in general. There's always a chance of rain. It's always right on the periphery, and you know, they're like, which way is it coming in? If it's coming from the east, or coming from the west, and when it arrives, it usually really arrives. Yeah,
if it's going to rain, it will rain. It won't be some of this crappy British rain where it's a bit of drizzle in one corner somewhere. No, it'll hammer down hard. But I don't think there was reports of rain on the visors, and we saw some in the helicopter, etc. But there was no puddles. There was nothing really on the ground. It was quite high temperatures there as well, so we weren't really getting it on the track. It was landing and then burning off straight away.
Yeah, and I think with rain at Brazil, it used to be fine because they race, but these days when it rains in Brazil, the way it rains there, they usually stop the race. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, are they worried now? It's all health and safety kicking in, isn't it?
I don't think it's that. And we've had this discussion before. I just don't think the tyres are up to snuff.
No,
they're not fit for purpose.
No.
So yeah, but
Okay.
we'll talk about tyres a bit later, I feel.
Okay. Well, in Q1 we lost Van Dorn, Stroll, Alonso, Hartley, and Sainz.
Wait, you mean Williams made it through?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah. And
I'm legitimately shocked.
I was shocked about McLaren and Alonso and Stoffel, really. They've gone backwards. They've gone so far backwards.
Oh, they've given up.
They've stopped.
Yeah. Which, if they decided to just direct everything to next year's car, okay. But I just think they're adrift in the middle of a sea. They've got no real clue. I mean, you had Eric Boulier left this year. Still don't know if he jumped or was pushed. You got Zach Brown there talking a big game, talking about, we want to get into multiple championships and get into IndyCar and, endurance championships and everything. But it's just like, dude, you literally were... Okay, you weren't quite last this time out, but you were effectively running last this week.
Yeah. Their eyes have been gazed somewhere else with Alonso, really.
To an extent, I think they had all their eggs in the Alonso basket.
Yeah.
But he checked out.
A couple of races ago, wasn't it?
I think he checked out about mid-season.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think once he did Le Mans, and as listeners will know, we're huge fans of Alonso most of the time. But really, he should have just stepped out of that car and let someone else have a go, because he's not even trying anymore.
No, I feel we are massive fans of him. But when you're not trying, I don't care. If I can see him really hustling that round and putting absolutely everything into it, then even if he comes last, but I can see that he's trying, okay, fine, I'm still with you. But when you're not doing anything for it and you just, do you know, I don't care. Well, then give someone else a go. Put Norris in there.
Yeah, give Norris a couple of, races to just get some experience, a bit of time in the car. That would have made more sense to me, but no, he's just circulating at the minute. So I think he's just lost some of that fire for Formula One.
Yeah.
He's winning another championship. So if you're winning there, why do you want to be running around in the back of this? So.
Okay, right. Q2. I think this is where it all kicked off.
Oh, yes. Because there was the threat of rain, wasn't there?
There was the threat of rain, and so everyone got out really quickly on their super softs. And Ferrari decided, no, we'll pull both the Ferraris in and go onto the softs. So if they get their time in, nobody can go faster than that, and they'll be through, and on their race tyre would be the soft tyre.
Yeah.
Which is a good way of thinking. I didn't think about it, and that was good. And I think first off, hang on, was Kimi balked by Hamilton before? No, Vettel came in and had to go to the weighbridge. He just, it's a luck thing.
It's purely random. They can just call in any driver at any time during qualifying and have them go to the weighbridge. And let me just explain what's supposed to happen, yeah? Yeah. As you're coming into the pit lane, you've got a traffic light. When you have to go to the weighbridge, it flashes red. And you're like, they point you over to the weighbridge. Yeah. You're supposed to pull up to the cone and stop your engine. They push you onto the scales, take the measurement. Then they push you off the scales and off you go. Yeah. And it used to be, before the hybrid era, the team would have to come down and start the car or push it back to the pit lane, because those cars couldn't start themselves. Yeah. But the hybrids can.
Yeah, and this is where Vettel is making silly little mistakes, because this was a calamity on everyone's part, I feel. He got pulled into the weighbridge. Frustrating, I know, but it's not a vendetta against him. It's probably a number and a calculation somewhere, and someone's gone past a beam, broken a beam, and then it's his turn next time round. That's the way it is. If there was another car in front of him, that car would have been pulled in and he would have carried on down into the pit lane, changed his tyres. That's simply the way it is. Yes. And so he pulled up to the weighbridge, frustrated because he wants to get tyres on to go out and set his time because the rain's coming.
So he did an impression of Max Verstappen after qualifying in Mexico.
And destroyed the cone. Yes. Okay. That's 25 quid down the drain already. And two faceless men with white pieces of paper saying brakes on came out, and some dude moved the cone and went, oh, no, this shan't be happening. I shall put my A4 page in front of him and tell him to put his brakes on. And he clearly disobeyed that order. And someone beckoned him onto the weighbridge. And so he drove onto the weighbridge. And so, okay, so that's number one misdemeanor. He drove onto the weighbridge.
He drove onto the weighbridge, yes.
But if he's beckoned on and there's no one to push him on, then why shouldn't he drive on?
Well, they were waiting for him to kill the engine.
Right.
Because what would happen normally is they pull up, stop, kill the engine, and then they would push the car forward.
So who would push the car forward? The guys at the weighbridge?
Yeah.
Okay. So he's driven onto that, so that's a misdemeanor. But he killed the engine when he was on there.
He did kill the engine, but he didn't. Yeah, he got on the weighbridge and then killed his engine.
Yeah.
But you got to remember with these cars, I think there's a lot of stuff, even with the engine off, a lot of the electronics and fans and stuff like that stay on.
Mm.
So I think they didn't realize the engine had been killed. They thought it was still on, but they took the weight measurement or tried to do that. And then they tried to move him on, push him off.
Yeah.
Would you like to finish the story?
Well, he kind of drove off, didn't he?
Oh, well, firstly, it looked like he'd shat his pants and he was desperate to get back to the pit lane to change them because he was hopping up and down in that, like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
He was kind of waving his hands and jumping up and down and everything. And they finally, taken a measurement and want to go. And he looks like he's just rocking backwards and forwards in the car, trying to, hide him up. Finally loses his patience, so he fires it up and off he trots. Now, I don't know the exact number for how much torque these things put out, but it's a lot.
Mm.
So as he goes to drive off of a weighbridge, which again is something you're not supposed to do, it spins up the back tyres and effectively bisects the weighbridge machine in half, kicking the rear scales backwards at a rate of knots, barely missing a marshal, it must be said. I have to say, if it hit them, it could have been a very different discussion we were having here.
Yeah.
And then off he trotted. And of course, the biggest travesty to this, I think you will agree, is that the person filming it was holding their phone vertically, not horizontally.
Now, that is disgusting. I almost didn't retweet it because of that. There was a pain in my stomach somewhere where I was
Maybe this is why you have a headache, because you retweeted that.
Maybe that is it, yes.
Yeah.
People, if you're going to film in landscape, don't do it in portrait, you idiots. You're just a bunch of idiots if you're doing that. What shape is your TV? That's right, exactly. That's the way I want to see it. This is why on news things on BBC, when they show something in vertical, you're like, no, I don't care if there's a terrorist situation going on. You film in landscape. That is the only way you should do it. You're wrong if you do it in portrait.
Yeah.
Idiots. That's by the by.
But by the way, so anyway, after the travesty of it being filmed in landscape, Vettel was later called to the marshals, and we thought this was a slam dunk because he didn't turn his engine off, and if he hadn't turned his engine off, that's a disqualification effectively from qualifying.
Yeah.
But he did turn his engine off. He just didn't turn it off when he was requested. So apparently the regulations don't explicitly state when you have to turn your engine off. They merely state that when you're directed towards the weighbridge, you must enter the weighbridge, turn off your engine, and allow them to take a measurement or whatever. And Ferrari could show that they had turned the engine off. So Yabu sucks to you.
There's someone at the FIA in the rule book section going, oh, for crying out loud, what have I got to do Monday?
Yep. So
but, what he did to the scales, though, it's clearly 4 independent scales, and I can see that. But we're talking about Formula One here, and this is supposed to be the pinnacle of motorsport. Why didn't they affix them to the ground? If they're supposed to be set there, and the reason why we're pushing the cars on is so they don't fly off anywhere, then surely they've been measured out in the correct settings. They've probably got a little chalk line laid down. So, okay, lads, guys, we need to put these weigh scales here and here, and we'll chalk them around, and then that's it. We never have to move them for the whole weekend. And Vettel's come along and ruined that. Now, I'm guessing each scale has a cable going to it, so they can weigh off each corner. And surely it's just, if he's broken the cable to that, then are you telling me that they don't have spare cables for that? Because he hasn't broken the scales. I don't know. I think he just moved them.
They shot out the back of that car at speed.
But I think he's just moved them out of the position. And some bloke with a moustache has gone, oh dear, they seem to be out of position now. We can't weigh anyone now. And they've lost their chalk lines. That's all that's happened. Just fix them down So we can drive on and drive off, make it quicker.
While I hear what you're saying, and I understand it, I will doff my legal cap here for a second. I suspect that they have to use the same scales at every race because they'll all be properly calibrated and stuff like that. They might have a spare set for instances when they're damaged or something like that. These might even be the same scales which are usually in the FIA garage at the end of a race, and they're just brought out into the pit lane for the qualifying, so they can just pull cars in as and when they need to.
Yeah.
So, that would probably be, they can't be affixed down permanently in that respect. Also, it might have been a case of when they were flung backwards, even assuming they weren't damaged, the calibration's probably out at that point.
Yeah.
Because, if they've been knocked or something or just picked up shit from where they've been, the rubber and stuff like that, I don't know. But my point is I can understand why for the rest of that session, at least, they couldn't be used without any calibration and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So those are why I think in that instance it wasn't the case. And as far as why don't they just drive on and off, and I understand it's frustrating, when you're trying to get another lap in and you're suddenly caught into a weighbridge. But this isn't a new procedure they've just brought in for the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2018.
No.
They've been doing it since the year dot.
Yeah.
So, and this is the first time I've ever seen anything like this. So I don't think the problem here is with the procedure or how it's being done. The problem here is with one Mr. S. Vettel, who, as I said, has shat his pants and needs to get back to the garage and change his underwear. Yeah. Because, that's got to be awful for him. More
haste, less speed.
A little bit. Speaking of which, you did miss out the best radio message during free practice.
What was that?
Oh, apparently there was something loose between Vettel's legs.
Yes. Have you seen the video of that then?
I have seen the video of it. That's fine.
If anyone hasn't seen that, I suggest you go find it I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere.
Oh, it is. It's on the FIA. It's on the F1 YouTube thing.
Okay.
But there's a little video clip of the message, and basically Vettel's complaining there's something loose between his legs. And it's not what you think it was, because if it was, he'd be very proud.
Yeah, it's down around his knees.
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah.
But, okay, he got fined for the scale.
He got fined €25,000, and I think his first reprimand of the season. And if you consider what happened last season, that's pretty good going.
That's a heavy fine.
Who do you think pays that? Do you think he pays it or the team pays it?
I think he would pay that.
Yeah. Wow, that's going to be at least, 4 corners around Interlagos for him?
That's a lunch.
If that.
Isn't it, really? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's going to affect his bank balance too badly.
No. I'm glad he paid for it. I'm glad he got fined for it. I don't think it is becoming of the guy. He's a 4 times a world champion. He's been on the weighbridge before, and probably in that sort of situation as well. But it's little mistakes like this that have hampered him all year, and that is what screwed him over. And he's got to cut that out.
Well, this for me had shades of Baku last year, because we're here joking and having fun about this because it was funny and silly. But the speed which those scales went flying out the back, and how close they came to hitting that marshal, if they'd have hit him at the knees, that would have taken his leg off.
Yeah.
And it very nearly did. So I think he got off very leniently. And I think if it had actually hit the marshal, he'd have been probably disqualified.
Yeah.
And probably in serious risk of being disqualified from a championship for that sort of a thing. So he got lucky. But it's little things like that where, you just a little bit of a red mist comes down. You don't pay attention, and a silly mistake like that has massive consequences. So I definitely feel that was a bad Vettel, bad. You roll up newspaper, just like, bad.
Do you think he should have been given a grid penalty as well for it?
No, I don't think a grid penalty, because no one was hurt.
Yeah.
But I feel that the fine could have been bigger.
I think it should have been.
Because 25,000. I mean, to us that'd be fuck's sakes, but to him, like you said, it's a lunch.
Yeah.
I think it should have been points on his license, and I feel it should have been a heftier fine, just to illustrate the potential danger there. And it's not about it's about the safety aspect again. It's someone could have been seriously hurt just because you're impatient and want to get, you've got your banker in, you're already going through to Q3. It's just because it's messing up your preferred strategy.
Yeah.
And that to me is unacceptable.
Cool. Okay. Right. Well, the drama wasn't just in the Ferrari camp with Vettel. There was Kimi was balked by Hamilton going down the back straight on one of his fast laps as well. He'd just got his softs on, and Hamilton was he wasn't on the racing line. He was more in the middle of the circuit, and Kimi was catching him at a rate of knots. And Kimi decided to go to the left because Hamilton wasn't moving. And by the time Hamilton did move, he was moving into the line of the Ferrari.
Yeah.
They didn't touch. Kimi wasn't put onto the grass. But it was just a reminder of, look, guys, they do really seem to be going so slowly when they're on their slow laps. And they're kind of forgetting that there is a racing line there. Yeah. And that was disappointing to see. But it was going to get even better or / worse for
depending on who you are.
Yeah, because there was a time where he was on an outlap on, I think, his second set of tyres, and he was just poodling around, backing himself off from someone else. And you know how I feel about this. Don't back off at the end of the lap, just gradually back off during the whole course of that lap, I feel. And Sorokin was coming out, and I don't know whether he was trying to get in front of Hamilton to get onto his fast lap or keep his temperatures up or keep his tyres up or whatever. Maybe this is the reason why he's at the back of the grid. But Sorokin came round there at a rate of knots towards the end of the lap, and Hamilton luckily saw him at the right time, thinking he was on a fast lap, moved off the racing line, but then Sorokin also moved off the racing line and was put onto the grass. Now, that was an aeroplane crash waiting to happen right there.
It really was, yeah. It had shades of, was it Monaco? No, it was Interlagos when Webber crashed into Montoya, was it?
When he was thrown up in the air?
Yeah. Something like that. I just had shades. I remember that was end the race. Maybe it was They had to end the race early, though. I remember that.
Oh, okay.
It was red flag, like 3 laps before the end. There was a big crash like that, just before the pit lane.
Oh, no, that was, it was in Interlagos. Webber crashed in his Jaguar, and then Alonso hit one of the tyres.
That was it, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, this really badly reminded me of, I don't know if you remember it or not, 93. There was, I think it was in qualifying. No, I think it was in one of the practices before qualifying. It was the 2 Ferraris. You had John Alesi and Gerhard Berger.
Yep.
And Berger was on a fast one coming down towards the last chicane. I forget the name of the chicane. And John Alesi was on the racing line. And exactly the same thing happened, but Berger was sent off into the barriers and destroyed his Ferrari.
Yeah.
And was nearly really badly hurt. And it was just bad communication. And everyone was going, what the hell were they doing? And it had shades of that. But I feel, even though there was a lot of people on Twitter turning around and saying, well, Sorokin wasn't on a fast lap, so Hamilton shouldn't be penalised for this. These guys keep tripping over on each other at the very ends of the laps. It happened to Hamilton, where Gasly put him onto the grass in Japan. And he was waving and hollering and saying, oh no, this is unbelievable. And Hamilton called this a very disrespectful move. And he was also saying...
He did retract that since.
Right.
But there's definitely a sense of the... I know everyone's very loath to say there's a 2-tier championship going on here, but apparently no one's told the top team drivers, because I tell you what, there's definitely that sense with Hamilton and Verstappen that they have more of a right to be in these places than Sirotkin, Stroll, or Ocon and so forth.
It's really coming through, isn't it?
There's definitely this sense of us and them there, which is not good.
No, but you need the other drivers there to make a championship. And these guys tend to forget that. And him, whether he's taking it back or not, I don't know. But him saying it's a disrespectful move, and I think he came out and said, oh, hopefully he'll learn from this. Hang on a minute, Hamilton. Maybe you shouldn't be backing off as hard as what you were at the end of the lap. It has been a curse of this season. It's happened far too much this season, and people moan about there being traffic and lots of people backing up, and yet they all keep doing it. And so maybe if they stop doing it, then you wouldn't have this backing up thing. Just time your runs better.
Well, I just feel that you're in risk then of getting into a situation like we used to have when they did like every driver got one lap.
Yeah.
Which I fucking hated.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
That was terrible. He says here, he said it initially, he felt it was disrespectful and dangerous, but he said he woke up the next morning and he felt that I was wrong. It wasn't disrespectful. It was a misunderstanding, and I attempted to get out of the way, and I'm sorry. This shit happens. So, fair play for Hamilton for coming out the next day and at least saying, no, I was wrong.
Okay. No, I didn't know that he did that.
I somehow don't think we'll be getting a message from Verstappen tomorrow along those lines.
Oh, man. We're nearly there. We're nearly there.
We're getting there. We're getting close.
Okay. I'm trying to think what else happened. I don't think there was much more to say about that. We did lose Sirotkin, Hulkenberg, Ocon, and Perez, and Magnussen in that session. And then Q3 was pretty quiet. Hamilton somehow got pole position where people were thinking that he weren't going to get it at all. Or wasn't going to get it at all.
Everyone seemed to be talking about the Ferrari being the car to beat around here.
Yeah. And maybe
apparently
the Red
no one
Bulls.
told Ferrari that, though.
Well, I think Ferrari will believe in it.
Were they?
Yeah, I think Mercedes were just like, well, we'll do our talking on the track. And then they gone slam pole position for Hamilton.
Oh, yes.
So we did get Hamilton in pole position. Sebastian Vettel was second. Valtteri Bottas was third. Kimi Räikkönen was fourth. Max Verstappen was fifth. Daniel qualified in sixth position. Marcus Ericsson was seventh. And Charles Leclerc was eighth. Romain Grosjean and Pierre Gasly were in ninth and 10th position.
Yeah, we had a couple of penalties because, of course, we did. Ricciardo had a 5-place penalty for a change of turbochargers, which was caused by a marshal shooting a load of fire extinguisher up to his turbocharger in Mexico.
Nobody likes that.
No one likes it, and, to be fair to the marshal, apparently there was flames visible, so what else is he going to do?
Yeah,
but I do feel that, maybe the FIA should take into account that when they fuck up the engine, maybe they should not issue the penalty. Just saying.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah.
That seems rather harsh on him for that.
Yeah, and Esteban Ocon also had a 5-place penalty for an unscheduled gearbox change.
Yeah.
What was that?
Okay, so should we get into the race then?
On to the race.
I know we've already had our initial impressions. I really did enjoy this.
Oh, me too. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
This was a fun race. It had look, Interlagos for me always goes one of two ways. It's either a really exciting classic race, or it's a snooze fest.
Yeah.
I don't think you get a middling race here at Interlagos.
Right.
So it started off and it was good and it was exciting. I was like, okay, fine, we've got some stuff going on here. And then it got really good.
Yeah. Do we talk about it straight away? Well, I think we might as well.
I think we may as well just set the scene properly.
Okay, fair enough.
All right, I'll stop that now before we get copyright striked. Yeah, let's just talk about the main thing, the main event. In the red corner, we have Max Verstappen.
Yep.
Or in the seeing red corner. And in the blue corner, or the pink corner, we have Esteban Ocon. So stuff happened in the race. Verstappen's in the lead. Hey, we'll talk about it in a minute.
Yeah.
But he's out in the lead. He's recently swapped tyres, hadn't he? Just gone on to... Yeah, he'd had his pit stop at that point.
Yep.
And, you know, he's ahead of Lewis. He's passed Lewis on the track. And Lewis is on a slower tyre, which is older than his. So there's really there's no real response going to happen here for that.
Yeah. And
coming along the straight, Ocon, you know, Mercedes engine, it's got a lot more power down the straight. It's got DRS, gets the tow, gets in a position to unlap himself. Verstappen is like, nope. In turn 1, and then in turn 2, just before turn 2, Ocon's on the outside, and then they hit.
Yeah.
And they both go spinning, pirouetting off into separate corners, and then down the middle comes Hamilton. And then Verstappen takes a moment to collect himself, to signal to the other car that he is okay, and continues on his way. That's what that meant, wasn't it? It was saying one finger indicates I'm good, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm all in one piece.
I'm in one piece. Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot to break down here, isn't there?
Okay. Well, Verstappen was on his second set of tyres.
He was
in
the
the
leader.
lead.
He's the leader of the race. Yeah.
He was comfortably in the lead.
He was tyre saving.
He was, but he was under no pressure whatsoever. He wasn't battling away and causing any problems for anyone else.
I think he was 3 to 5 seconds clear of Hamilton at that point.
Possibly, yes. And Perez had just come in. Ocon had just come in and changed his tyres, and he was on the super softs.
And there'd been a problem on his pit stop.
Yeah, he had a slow left, I think it was.
Yeah, left rear, I think.
Yeah.
So he was, you know, on the back foot effectively.
Yeah, I think part of this, the problem I had was I didn't know about the build up to this.
Okay.
And Ocon had sat behind Max for maybe 2 laps, knowing that he was faster, but unable to go past, and probably thinking about it and going, well, should I, shouldn't I? But he was keeping pace with him. He knew he was faster than him because Max was saving everything. I think he was saving tyres. I think he was saving energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, Ocon decided, well, do you know what? First corner's a good place to overtake the leader around the outside, isn't it? And he's gone for it, and he got the move done. Well, when I say move done, he was in front of him when he went on the exit of turn 1.
He wasn't fully ahead, to be fair.
I think there was a bit where he was ahead.
I don't think he was ever fully ahead.
Right.
I think at most he was 2 wheels ahead. At most.
Okay.
He was half a car ahead at most. And Verstappen... Now, you see, Verstappen was still ahead in turn 1. It was just before turn 2, Ocon started pulling ahead.
Right.
Because the argument that was being made in Verstappen's defence is he didn't expect Ocon to be there having been ahead into turn 1. Because you don't expect a back marker to unlap themselves there.
No. But
and that's all fair. That's all fair. You don't have to expect it.
It's not illegal to unlap yourself, though.
Not at all. It's perfectly legal to unlap yourself, especially if you're in a faster car.
Yeah.
Verstappen turned in and collected Ocon. The front of his right rear connected with the rear of Ocon's front left.
Yes.
And it caused quite a bit of floor damage to Verstappen.
Yeah.
And I think it broke one of the barge boards off of Ocon's car.
Right.
But they both basically did a Vettel and just pirouetted off. They were both still able to continue running.
Yeah.
Where should we start with this? Is there blame to be assigned here? Because the stewards gave Ocon was it a 5-second or a 10-second penalty?
They gave him a 10-second penalty, and he's also been given 3 points on his license for causing an incident.
For causing a collision.
Yeah. Now, where do we start with this? Because if Max is going so slow and conserving himself that a back marker wants to get past him, then surely he should be obliged to let him through.
Well, yeah. And as Ocon had pointed out, he passed 7 cars at turn 2 throughout the race.
Right.
So
Ocon had passed 7 cars.
Ocon had passed 7 cars.
Okay.
Well, he'd overtaken 7 times in turn 2.
Yeah.
That's what he says. I'll take it as read that he did.
Yep.
Now the stewards have, given him the penalty. I'm looking here at a tweet from Ocon, which has got stills, and I will send it to you.
Oh yes, please.
There you go. And I'm looking at these, and it shows him passing Alonso. I mean, it has a series of things. I kind of think Verstappen's a bit at fault, because I'm looking at this image here, and you're obliged to leave a car's width, aren't you?
You are, but he is the leader.
That means diddly and squats, though. You're allowed to unlap yourself. That's stated in the rules.
Yeah.
And if you're telling me the leader's not allowed to be passed, then what's the fucking point of racing full stop?
Because
I'm looking at these stills, and again, these are stills, so take as you will. But from the still images here, Verstappen is not leaving a full car's width there
at the apex,
because he's not
no,
expecting.
He's not.
Because he's not expecting a car to be there. Fair enough. But if you're in a faster car, you're allowed to pass the car in front, even if you're a lap down. You're allowed to unlap yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you're not allowed to unlap yourself, the second you're lapped, you may as well retire the car. It may as well be, if you're not on the lead lap, you just retire the car and that's you done.
Yeah.
We don't want that. So I don't think there's anything wrong with Ocon unlapping himself. I don't think Verstappen's at fault for not expecting it, but you need to have situational awareness if you're going to be a world champion.
Yeah.
As Lewis pointed out to him in the cool-down room, Ocon had nothing to lose. You had everything to lose.
Yeah.
For the sake of looking at this maybe 12 inches further across, shall we say a Vettel distance?
Right.
This wouldn't have been an issue. And even if Ocon passed him, if Verstappen then wanted to pass him back again, he could have done. But this is a bit of a mountain out of a molehill, really.
Okay, right. It's very unusual to have a lapped car take out the leader of a race. And so that causes controversy straight off the bat. And Ocon's not the type of guy that is just going to take anyone out. He's not a Grosjean, is he? He's not a Magnussen. But you're dealing with Max, who thinks that every corner is his. And Max fans, and I am a Max fan as well, but Max fans come at me because we all know that's true. He thinks he deserves every single corner. And he's trying to craft a way that people turn around and go, well, he's going to take that corner, so I better back off.
Oh, he has successfully cultivated this reputation where drivers do not want to be near Max.
Exactly. And that is the perfect situation for him. But he has to realise that is going to bite him on more than one occasion. Or it's going to bite him several occasions, and it's going to continue to bite him until he realises he's not in control of every single apex. And I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to learn that lesson. So this is.
Well, I think he's shown some growth. He's showing a lot more patience than he did a couple of years ago. I'll give him that.
That is true. I think
so. He has shown he's shown signs of a chance for growth there. That's fine. I do still think the arrogance is there.
Yeah.
To an extent. He definitely feels he is entitled to win. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to have that to an extent to be a champion. I think you saw a lot of that in Lewis Hamilton during his McLaren days.
Yeah.
I think we see less of it now.
Yes. Yeah.
I think we definitely saw a lot more of it from Vettel in his Red Bull days than we're seeing from him now. And by God, did we see it from Fernando Alonso?
Yes.
So I think that's just something racing drivers have. Fine, whatever. But with this particular incident, I can't put all the blame on Ocon. If anything, if you take away that it's a lapped car, and if you just to say this was a racing for position, I'd put more fault on Verstappen. Just from what it looks like here, where he didn't leave enough space. He closed the door on the car. You're meant to leave the car's width. I think the only reason he didn't leave enough space is because he didn't expect a lapped car to be there, to be trying to unlap itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I definitely don't think his reaction after that is warranted. I don't know if you've seen the news, but he's been given public service for shoving Ocon during the weighbridge at the end of a race.
Yeah, but I think we'll get onto that in a minute, though.
Yeah. But my point is, I think this was 60-40 in my mind. 60% Verstappen's fault.
If he was racing him, then I'd say yes. He's not physically racing him. It's very unusual to have a car go around the outside of turn one, let alone a back marker trying to unlap itself on the leader. And then that's Max. I think because Max was in the center of the track going into turn one, so he knew Ocon was there.
Yeah.
And Ocon had braked him. He outbraked him going into that corner. If you remember, he did get a slingshot around him.
Yeah.
And he went round the outside. So that in itself, Max should have let him go at turn one. He should have let him have that and disappear off. He's not racing him. But Max being Max, he wants to race everyone into every single corner.
Mm-hmm.
But Ocon going around the outside of turn one, I don't know. But
you go around the outside of turn one, so you're on the inside of turn two.
Yeah, that's right. But the thing, they're racing into that turn one, and they're not racing. They're not racing each other.
Well, you say that, but Ocon's in a faster car at that point. He might be a lap down, but all 20 cars are racing. It might not be your immediate competitor there.
Mm.
It might not be the person just in front or behind you on the track, but they're all racing each other. You know, Lewis Hamilton was just as much racing Sergei Sorokin as he was Verstappen and Vettel.
Yes,
they're all racing. Then there are no friends on that circuit. In fact, in a bit before the circuit, before the race, they were saying, "Look, when you're racing, we have no friends out there. Afterwards, yeah, it's fine, but when you're racing, it's kill or be killed. So, Ocon's, he's not a mobile roadblock for Verstappen to get around. He's another racer.
Yeah, I know that, but
does Verstappen know that?
Well, clearly he doesn't. No, but for Ocon to go around the outside of the leader and then expect him to be given the next corner, especially when it's Max, that we know that he does this sort of shit, I think he's chancing his luck.
Maybe. No, I think this is Max's persona biting him in the arse.
Well, okay, if he'd gone round the outside of Vettel, what would have happened there? Would Vettel have given him room?
I think so, actually. In fact, I think almost any other driver would be the only other driver who I think probably wouldn't have given him room. Is probably a Sergio Perez.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, he's driving a Haas,
or maybe a Haas.
Yeah,
but I think we've seen this in the past. We've seen it with, Kimi and Lewis, and I take the point about if it's a lapped car, you don't expect it. But if you're going to be, we're told these are the 20 best drivers on the planet, bar none. You've got to have situational awareness of what's going on around you. You've got to know there's a car there. You've got mirrors. They may be shit, but you've got them there.
Well, Max should know that he's got a car behind him, a pink car behind him. He'd know that it was a Force India.
Yeah.
And that he hasn't been able to shake it. And not that he's trying to shake it, but he's conserving stuff. And he's got a car that's hanging with you. So he has to be in the mind of, okay, well, if he goes for it, then I haven't lost anything, so maybe I just give that, and then if I catch up with him again, I get the blue flags, and then I get past him again.
Yeah.
But this is Max we're talking about.
Well, then we're having two different discussions here, because we're either saying what is the rules and what is right, or are we just saying it because it's Max? And we're not having a separate rule book for Max Verstappen here.
No, bollocks to that.
He's racing with the same rules as everyone else.
That poor FIA man is listening to us going, no, I'm not writing a second book.
No, this isn't a Max edition. So, no, there can't be a separate one. So, and then if we're in a discussion of I hate to make the comparison, but it's effectively victim blaming then if you're saying, well, you should have known better.
Right.
You're wearing that out. You should have expected this. No, you can't be doing that. That doesn't fly. That boat won't float, Monsignor.
Okay. Well, what if we didn't have the blue flag situation and you had to race past people all the time? Then this would have been. I think it would have been clear cut that Max should have given him room. Well,
I think we've discussed this many times that neither of us are particularly fans of the blue flags, and we'd quite happily get rid of them. Because I do think passing back markers is part of racing.
Yeah.
And the reason why they have trouble passing back markers is because your error rules are fucked.
Yes.
So fix your error rules, and then we won't have this mess, will we? But that's a different discussion for another day. I just think that in this particular instance, and I'm taking aside who people are. So this is just driver A and driver B. A being the leader, B being the back marker.
Yeah.
Right? Taking aside all of that, in this instance, my view is driver A didn't leave a car's width for car B. Even though car B was a lap down, the rules state car B is allowed to unlap itself if it is faster. Frankly, if car B can unlap itself, it is faster. Whether or not you're saving your tyres or thing, at that point of a race, it is faster than you.
Right.
So you have to, if you know there is a car there who is trying to get by you or has just stuck its nose up the inside in turn one, the corner right before, you know it's there. I feel you're obligated to give a car's width into the next bit. I don't like the mentality that you have to fall on your sword when the leader's coming by. I agree. I don't want back markers to get in the way of a battle or something like that. But at this point of a race, he was just circulating and doing his thing. You know, he was well clear of Hamilton. There was no immediate risk. It's not like earlier when Lewis had Verstappen right behind him and he came up across the Williams and the McLaren, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was exciting because it's like less than a second and, you know, it fucked Hamilton because it allowed Verstappen to get by him.
Yeah.
That was going to happen sooner or later, but, you know, it accelerated that. But in this instance, him unlapping himself wasn't going to affect the title battle or the battle for the lead at all. He was just trying to get back on the lead lap so he could get off onto the next one. Given the pace of the car, he couldn't sit behind that Red Bull at the slower pace because it was going to fuck his race. You know, he was chasing off whoever was down the road. And we know these cars don't like following other cars. It was probably going to destroy his tyres, which were fresher. And looking at the picture here, he was on super softs, while Verstappen was on just normal softs.
Okay. Right. In the third photo in that scene that he's given us,
Right.
where it looks like he's the apex is coming up.
Right.
Max is drifting over to the apex, and that door is closing on Ocon.
So Ocon has one wheel on the white line.
Yeah.
He is, I'd say, 3/4 of a car alongside.
Yeah, his
Verstappen
wheels
there?
alongside his
Yeah.
barge boards. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right. That I don't think should be happening to the leader because the race is with the leader, and having a back marker do that and putting himself at risk like that, and the whole race at risk as well. This isn't just a inter-team thing for 11th or 10th or going for a point and sending one up there just to get a single point. This is, I'm ruining the complete race. He's not just ruining a little battle. He's fundamentally changed that race and possibly the championship for lower positions by doing that. Now, I'm a huge fan of Ocon. I think he's great, and I think he's going to be missed next year, and he should be in a car. But doing that to the leader, I think you're asking for trouble. I think he's more in the wrong than Max. Max, yeah.
I hear what you're saying, but I don't agree. I don't think you can put the leader on a pedestal. There's 20 cars out there, and the same rules apply to all of them.
I'm not putting him on a pedestal, but
you're saying if you're the leader, you deserve preferential treatment.
No,
you just said if this was so if you have a car in 11th,
yeah,
and a lapped car trying to pass the car for 11th, this is fine.
No. I meant a battle for 11th and 10th.
Oh, so but if it's a lapped car trying to pass the guy in 11th,
well, then they should be backing off.
Why?
Because that race that you're trying to fight there is a whole lap ahead of you.
But you're not trying to fight that race. You're trying to get past him so you can get to your race.
Yeah,
because that guy is in your way.
That's correct, but there's also plenty of other opportunities ahead of you. He's got another DRS situation right in front of him.
Yeah, but for all we know, this would have happened at turn 4. Because as you pointed out, this is Max.
But turn 4 is a totally different corner to the S's.
No, I get that. But what I'm saying, look, cars passed here all weekend. We've seen it. We've seen cars pass in turn 2. We've seen close fights and everything.
Not the way
you can pass. You can pass here. This isn't a place you can't pass, right? Right?
Yeah, and we've seen lead changes, and we've seen people go around the outside like this, but never unlap themselves like this.
Well, we almost did. Look, all I'm saying is there's 20 cars on the grid. The rules have to apply equally to all of those cars. So you can't have the leader given special status. He is the leader, that's fine. But it's down to him to have the situational awareness and to protect that lead. And that includes protecting it from other cars and back markers and stuff like that. Verstappen had far more to lose there than Ocon did. And if he was just 12 inches further over and left a car's width, which you are required to do when a car is passing, we wouldn't be having this discussion. Ocon would have gotten past him, shot off up the road. That's it. Verstappen would have handily won this race without a problem. But Verstappen closed that door. Now, whether he closed that door because he felt he's entitled to the corner, or he closed that door because he didn't realise a back marker was trying to pass him there, that's a different discussion there. But because of that inattention and because he did that, they collided. So in my mind, the fault is more with Verstappen for causing that collision. I don't have all the stuff the FIA have and everything like that. And as Ocon showed, he passed plenty of cars there throughout the weekend. Other cars passed there. It's perfectly possible to pass a car there. And I don't like the idea that just because it's the leader, you should be falling on your sword and getting out of the way for them, or, you know, not disrupting their race. I understand. I don't want people getting in the way of a close battle. That's fine. I don't want that at all. I don't want the situation like we had where Hamilton and Verstappen were less than a second between each other. I don't want back markers getting in the way then. But when you're just circulating, as they were doing at this point, let them run their race. Let them get off ahead of them. Or then it's fine. As soon as you're lapped, retire the car, because what's the point?
God damn it. So I'm really caught with this. I feel I'm going to say
if it helps,
I'm going to say all the wrong
don't
words.
think of a driver. If it helps, don't use driver names. Just use driver A and driver B, and just try and keep it as nondescript as you can. But I feel in this situation, driver A is at fault because he didn't leave a car's width for driver B.
Okay, driver A. Driver A was overtaken by driver B in a lunge. Driver B is still trying to unlap himself, and it's another lunge into the second corner. I don't think driver A is expecting that whatsoever. You know what? I think he's perfectly entitled to not expect a lapped driver to try and take a lunge on him. I don't feel it was a lunge, and I feel driver A needs to be aware of what's going on around him. But also, being the leader, not that you should be entitled to every corner, but you should have some sort. You've earned a lap of respect from the people that you've just lapped in not taking you out. And okay, if you're faster than me, you go around me, but you don't dare interfere with my race.
I don't think Ocon was looking to interfere with his race. I think he was just trying to get past him. If driver A had left a car's width, just one car, just a car's width.
There's plenty of other places as well.
But my point is that doesn't matter, because he could have done it at any other place. And if you don't leave the car's width, this is going to happen. Where it happened is immaterial. The issue was there was not a car's width left. So anywhere on the circuit, you do not leave a car's width, a car will not fit. And if a car will not fit, they will collide.
Has driver A, being a lap ahead, not earned the right to take that corner because he is a lap ahead of the person he's got behind him?
Well, no, I don't think he has. I don't think anyone. No, because I don't like you're entitled to something because of whatever.
I don't think he's entitled. So he's earned it.
He's a lap ahead.
He's earned it. He's done 3 miles more than the other guy.
Well, now we're into the discussion about the disparity between Formula One's haves and have-nots. But no, I don't think he has earned it. I don't think at all. What about a situation then? Let's use another hypothetical situation, yeah? Where you have a front-running car that's had an issue. It's spun early into the race and has found itself at the very back.
Yeah.
And is now trying to make its way back through to get back onto the lead lap.
Yeah.
Let's just say, for example, in this situation, the lead car was Lewis Hamilton, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And the car trying to unlap itself was Ricciardo.
Okay.
No, let's say actually it was Raikkonen and Ricciardo, right?
Okay.
If Ricciardo was fast enough that he could pass Kimi, even though Kimi was on the lead lap and Ricciardo was a lap down, but the Red Bull had the pace, it was so much faster, would that be okay? Are we only having this discussion because the Force India isn't a match for a Red Bull?
No, I think it's the way it's done, and the S's are so unique. It's such a unique set of corners. I think if that was Raikkonen and Ricciardo, and who's trying to overtake who? I suppose it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't really matter. But in this instance, the Red Bull, I think, were by far the fastest car this weekend.
Yeah.
Well, on race day, yeah?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is if you have a situation where the fastest, the car which is the fastest has the pace to win, and then you have another car which is slower, but it's on the lead lap, and it is the leader, what have you. But, if you want to get to a position where you can get some decent points and start, it's not outside the realm of possibility you could get up and battle for the lead from the back. We've seen it a couple of times, even this season, haven't we?
Mm.
I think he's perfectly entitled to do it.
I think everyone's entitled to battle and make their way up to the front and onto a lead lap and get as far up that grid as they can. But driver A has earned the right. He has, just for the fact that we have blue flags. If he's behind you, he has earned the right for you to move over to let him through. Thus, he has earned the right to be in front of you. Thus, driver A has earned the right to have that corner before the lapped car. If it wasn't that way, we wouldn't have blue flags already, and we wouldn't have had them for the last 20, 30 years.
Have we had them for 30? It feels like it's been less than that. Firstly, my learned friend, I put it to you that blue flags are in themselves a flawed and a detriment to racing.
They are, yes.
This is not the discussion here. Secondly, my learned friend, by this same logic, the lead car, having passed all other cars, is entitled to its position, ergo all racing is null and void. Through this same logic, I put it to you. It is a flawed premise. It is. I submit to you that the faster car, all 20 cars have the right for the rules to be equally applied to them.
Yes.
It states in the rule book, I do not have it in front of me to read you chapter and verse, but the car in front is obligated to allow a car's width when being passed by a car behind.
Okay.
That is the rules. The rules do not say, addendum, this doesn't apply if the car is a lap down.
No, okay, that's fair enough.
The rules state you must leave a car's width when battling for a corner or anything like this. Driver B and driver A were battling through turns 1 and 2. Driver A did not leave a car's width. In my mind, driver A is at fault because of that. I do not agree that he has the right to have the Red Seas parts before him just because he is in the lead at that point of the race. I do not like blue flags, full stop. I fully understand they are part of the rules and that's just something we've got to live with. I don't like it. But when you have a car which is faster and you have a car which is passing another car on the circuit, leader or not, he has the right to expect a car's width to be given to him then.
Okay. Right. Sorry if we're going on about this, but... Yeah.
I'm not.
Good. Because, okay, when we say they're battling, Ocon is battling to get back onto the lead lap, yes?
Yes.
Max is not battling with the Force India, correct?
He is not. No, he's not.
So what we have there, we have a situation where we have one car battling for a corner and another car taking a corner. We have two totally different situations heading to the same apex. We have a car who's trying to get in front of car B, trying to get in front of car A, battling for that apex. Car A is going into that corner thinking, well, I've lapped him. He's behind me. I'm not in a battle here. I don't need to leave a car's width.
What you think is irrelevant. You have to leave a car's width.
But if you're going into that corner of the mindset that you don't have to leave a car's width...
Then the problem is your mindset.
Really?
I'm sorry, it is. The problem is your mindset. Your problem is, I have the right to be here. Screw the lot of you. I'm off. And what you see happened.
Oh, don't know. Oh, that's... But he's... No. Oh, flipping hell.
Oh, okay. Let me put it in a way. It's a bit like, I suppose, if I'm out on my motorbike driving around.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got the right to go around a corner for whatever you.
No, you haven't.
No, let me get to it.
You haven't got four wheels. No, you haven't.
And then there's a truck coming the other way, yeah?
Yeah.
And the truck does an illegal turn
Yes.
and hits me. I had right of way.
Uh-huh.
I was in the right. I'm still dead, though. But I had right of way.
Yeah.
Who's at fault there? The truck's at fault, but I probably should have been paying fucking attention.
Yeah.
Because it's a big truck. All I'm saying here is there was a pink car in the mirrors that you knew was there.
Yeah.
And for the sake of a quick glance, you'd have known it was there. And we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yeah. Yeah, he should have been well aware of what was going on around him.
And I'm also just saying, if he'd left a car's width, you wouldn't have had an issue.
That's right, yeah, because he would have left the car's width, so he would have been on the outside of turn 2, which would have been the inside of turn 3, and would have had maybe a collision in turn 3.
Maybe. And then we'd be having a discussion there.
Yeah.
But my point is, in this very long drawn out section, of which I don't apologise to anyone because we knew this was going to be about.
And if we agree to disagree, then that is just loses way out of a battle and bollocks to that.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that.
No, Queensbury also. No, none of that shit.
No.
But no, in this instance, I do not like the idea, and this wasn't just you saying this was Martin Brundle as well, saying that the leader has the right to have his race uninterrupted. If you have that mentality, the second you lap a car, that car may as well retire. Because you're saying, if you're not on the lead lap, you have no right to be there.
No.
That's what they're saying.
I'm not saying that at all.
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying that's what was implied by commentary. I'm also saying, look, if a car's faster, it has a right to pass you, because fast cars should go past, which is fine. And like I said earlier, I think if this was a Mercedes or a Red Bull or a Ferrari unlapping itself, it would be an entirely different conversation, because there'd be this presumption that, well, absolutely it's entitled to unlap itself because it's one of those cars. But because it was a midfield running car, and because it was driver A, who has a reputation, shall we say, because of these things and because it happened, it was a whole thing. It wouldn't have been a thing if he'd have checked his side mirrors and left the car's width.
Right.
And I don't think the argument, well, you could have done it anywhere else on the circuit, holds water, because if you don't leave a car's width, if you don't respect the other car coming through to give them that space, well, car into space where no car equals 2 crash cars. That's basic maths there.
I think if you
How's that headache of yours anyway?
I think if it was on any other part of the circuit, then it would have been a duck underneath, and he would have been gone, and that would have been it. Turn 4, he would have ducked underneath. Max would have gone, oh bloody hell, and then that would have been it.
Oh no, Ocon says he passed 7 cars there.
Yeah.
So it was working for others.
Yeah, well, all them other 7 times with the leader, though.
Well, doesn't matter. He was still faster in all 7 of those times.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true. How many times? No, okay, right. Should we leave?
Go on.
No, because I'm just going to get stupid now. Look, you know, I know, we could do this all night.
Yeah, pretty much. I ain't got work in the morning.
No, well, I've got to upload this at some point, but I still reckon we could do this all night.
Yeah.
But the fisticuffs didn't end there. Max was spun off. He flat spotted his tyres.
He did, and with floor damage.
Yeah. And he continued, and he was still not as fast, but still fast. He was, after Hamilton got in front of him, he was catching him.
Well, I think it's a testament to how much pace the Red Bulls had compared to how much he lost, in that his tyres were 19 laps newer?
Yeah.
Something like that. He was on the faster tyre. And even with the flat spotted tyres and with the floor damage, he was still keeping pace with Lewis, who was on older tyres that were mediums in a car which just hadn't been as fast on race day. So there was so much pace in that Red Bull that even with that damage and those tyres, he was still able to keep pace.
Yeah.
But he couldn't quite close it down, could he?
No, he could get almost to the DRS, but wasn't quite, even though they were going through
He could
traffic.
get to about 1.5 seconds, about 1.7. That's kind of where he was. But yeah, he just couldn't quite get that extra bit. And I think that was mostly just down to a combination of the damage to the floor, and the tyres were past their best by then.
Yeah. Well, I'm surprised he didn't come in for a new set of boots. He must have flatted them.
If he'd have done that, he'd have ended up, what, 4th?
Maybe even lower.
Yeah, so, you know, he made the right decision by doing it.
Mm.
And just to be clear, huge respect for Max for, you know, just getting into that position in the first place. Drove sublimely. The package the Red Bull got together working really, really well, which was great. And, you know, he did learn, you know, with that incident aside, you know, because at the beginning, Kimi Räikkönen stuck a blinder up the inside on Max.
Yes.
Which was great. And everyone was like going, well, hey, you know, the old boy's still got some life in him. But, you know, instead of coming straight back and doing something stupid, waited for the opportune moment and then passed him beautifully. Yeah. And then, again, you know, hunted down Hamilton on the circuit. And that was beautiful because, you know, you had the back markers in front of him. He just lined it up great and went straight into turn 1.
Yeah.
Have him. So, this was Max's race. He won driver of the day, I think, and absolutely deserved the win up until he forgot to leave a car's whip.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it? Vettel, though, had a really crap race.
Oh, yeah. So what happened? Because I was cooking dinner when that bit of it was, and all of a sudden he was 30 seconds down. And I'm like, what happened there?
Well, I don't think he had a very good car underneath him. And maybe I think he's psychologically beaten into the ground after this season. Because on the formation lap, he was very slow away. It almost kicked himself out of gear and went into anti-stall. Mm-hmm. He was really slow away on the start. He was past... I think he went wide in turn 4 and Kimi Räikkönen overtook him there. So he dropped down to 4th at one point.
Yeah.
He then after the pit stops sorted themselves out, he then let Kimi go past him. He had the call from the pit wall to say, look, let him go. He's faster than you. And he let him through. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He bumped into Danny at one point going into turn 1 and turn 2. They bumped uglies at one point.
Euphemism.
Yeah. And really, he was just way off the pace. And at one point, he was 6th. He came in for a fresh set of boots and with hope of if something happens or if the rain comes, then he's going to be on fresher tyres. And it just didn't. Nothing happened. He was behind Leclerc. He got Leclerc and then that was it.
I mean, at one point, Bottas was able to pit for new tyres and still come out ahead of him.
Yeah, that's not good, is it?
It's really not. It definitely just feels like he's lost. It was properly beaten last time out, basically, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think since the mid-season break, I know we had Belgium where he won, but since then, it's just been Lewis and Mercedes, and he hasn't been able to catch up and do anything with it.
No. And it's a real shame because, he's such a talented driver, and I think he's matured since his Red Bull days.
Yeah.
And I think the Ferrari package was stronger at the beginning of the season. But I think they just lost direction.
Yeah.
That just might be the way it feels to me.
Yeah. He did have a 1.9 pit stop, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, sub 2 second pit stop.
It's not the first one we've had, but, it's...
No, but it's still there. They're still hanging around.
Yeah, no, and, fair play. And obviously, I remember at one point someone was saying, oh, wow, that was a 2.3 second pit stop. It was a bit slow, wasn't it?
Yeah. Ericsson's car was determined to fall out and destroy itself.
I thought Ericsson car had been built by us, to be honest.
Well, going to the grid, he lost his diffuser, or something broke on his diffuser, and so they had to do like a temporary repair. Rubber bands and gaffer tape were all out. I think they did bond it back together, but it wasn't going to be the same. And he had an incident in the first lap. He lost a bit of his wing. He nearly lost it in turn 3. And I think from that point, he started so high up, he may have got a nosebleed because he was starting in 6th position for a Sauber. And you're like, hang on, where the hell did that come from? And it was never really going to end well. He ended up spinning off in the second sector and just phoned it in saying, look, I can't drive this, and promptly retired.
Yeah.
What else do we have? We had... Hamilton was moaning a little bit during this race as well. He wasn't getting enough information from his wall. And there was a section where he was moaning about the lack of information and asking where Max was and how fast Max was, because he was worried about coming in for tyres and then Max being in front of him. Mm-hmm. And so he did ask and say, I need information. I need to know exactly where I am because my tyres are going off. And they were graining quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I think he was told, you've got 0.7 over Max. And he's like, oh, okay, cheers for that. And that was promptly batted back by Max when he turned around and said, do you know what? I think these tyres are getting better. And
yeah, I heard that, yeah.
I think, I don't know whether that was on purpose or whether that was code or what, but it was just sublimely timed that it was almost comical. It's almost as if someone had written a script for that.
I definitely think the FIA people who are monitoring the radio channels are definitely like, oh, let's play this and then play this one.
Yeah.
Stir the pot a bit.
Yes, definitely. And I think that was around about it. It was nice to see. I know you had Max hunting down Hamilton towards the end. Once again, Hamilton gets the win. Of course he does. But
well, to be, it was by no means a done deal, even until the very end.
No,
I still felt that Max had the potential to catch him.
Yeah,
and we had some testy moments with back markers again as they were making their way through. You had Alonso in a world of his own, daydreaming about the Indy 500.
Oh, both McLarens were, weren't they?
Both McLarens. In fact, they were both given penalties, I believe.
Yeah, they were. That's when
licensed penalty points, yeah.
That's when I thought Alonso just doesn't give a shit now.
Oh, God, no.
I think he's just trying to rack up everything. He's now been given a 5-second penalty for ignoring blue flags. And clearly that wasn't on his CV. And he just needed that to fill that gap. He's like, right, okay, I've done everything now, guys. I don't need to come back here.
Yep, I've done a lot.
So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Daniel Ricciardo catching Kimi Räikkönen at one point.
It was a shame. It definitely that had an element of anticlimax in that he managed to close up to about 1.2 seconds or something like that.
Yeah,
it was within DRS range, about 3 or 4 laps before the end.
Yeah,
but just couldn't get that last. Couldn't get close enough to have a lunge or anything like that, any sort of a fight. No. And that was just a little bit disappointing. I kind of wanted Daniel to at least have a chance there.
Yeah, I imagine if he hadn't had that grid penalty, where he would have been.
That's true, yeah.
I think he would have been up there.
Well, it depends, maybe a back mark would have tried to pass him.
Oh, maybe he would have been in Lewis's position and taken the win.
Maybe.
Man, that would have pissed Max off even more, wouldn't it?
Quite possibly.
That really would have.
Yeah. There was some ding-dongs going on between the Toro Rossos, apparently.
Yeah, I didn't see any of that, though.
Didn't see it, we just heard about it, but they were both apparently on the radio asking for the other one to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And as it transpired, because they were bickering over each other, Carlos Sainz managed to get by Pierre Gasly and split them. But they were fighting over 11th, 12th and 13th, so big whoop.
Yeah, yeah.
And last losers.
After the race as well, I'm sure we alluded to it, but on the weighbridges, it was Max and Ocon again, wasn't it?
More drama at the weighbridge, yeah.
Yeah. And do you know what? I don't blame Max for going in there and giving him a couple of shoves. It's one of them things, we kind of need that. What do you want him to do? Go, oh, yes, well done, well done. No, he's not going to do that.
No, you don't do that, but you don't have to lay fingers on the person. You can gesture, as he did, and he had a few choice words for him in the press conference as well, which was fine.
I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, he called him a pussy.
Oh, Jesus.
Are you going to bleep that? I hope not.
No, I'm not going to bleep that. That means work.
Yeah, it's true. No, that's all fine. We want that. But these are professional, I use the term loosely, athletes. Sportsmen. They've got sponsors. I feel you can be a personality without having to resort to punching, even when adrenaline's high and all that. I mean, if anything, it was poorly managed from the FIA and Red Bull / Force India's perspective. You didn't have to be a fucking genius to figure out this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So you don't put them in the bloody weighbridge at the same time as each other.
Yeah.
And deal with that. But no, I don't. I do not applaud that kind of behaviour. I just don't. I don't want robots who just sit there and thank the team, thank the sponsor, thank this. I want personality.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see punch ups. The closest I ever want to see is Schumacher and Coulthard from Spa.
Yeah.
Where you storm towards the guy, but you're stopped long before you get to him.
Hold me back, lads. Hold me back.
Hold me back. Hold me back. That's fine.
So what's going through his head is, I'm never going to hit him, but I want it to look like I want to hit him. So hold me back, guys.
It's like two dogs that are barking at each other on leads. Remember, leads break, and they're just like, shit, what now?
Yeah. Oh.
It's like that. So because of that, though, Max Verstappen has been given 2 days of community service.
Okay, so is this like when Schumacher had to do community service for like the what was it, knocking or trying to knock Jacques Villeneuve out the race?
I think it is.
Right. Okay.
Basically, he's required to perform 2 days of public service at the discretion of the FIA within 6 months.
He ain't gonna like that.
Well, they have to do it anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to be go to one of the bloody driving school things.
Okay, what would you make him do? What could we send Max to do? If you have any ideas, listeners, then please send it to box@grandprixpodcast.com.
Oh wow, I need a minute to think now. What would I make Max Verstappen do? Ooh,
I don't know.
No, I'm not going to do anything too demeaning and silly.
No.
And it is really tempting. Maybe make him be a marshal.
See, now that would be a good one for any of the drivers, I think.
I think that would be, just give you that sense of the other side.
Yeah, obviously Alonso doesn't have to do that. He's already got that on his CV.
Alonso's already done it,
Yeah.
Alonso's done just about everything.
Yeah.
I think the only thing left on Alonso, and this is probably what we'll do at Abu Dhabi, is go and be Charlie Whiting.
Yeah. Wave the flag.
Yeah, just retire the car after the opening laps and just go and drop the flag at the end of it.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have a think about what I'd make Max do.
Yeah, we'll come up with some good ones for next time out.
Yeah, I know. As soon as we stop recording, I'm going to think about 4 or 5. That's always the way. Okay, right. Shall I run down the top 10 anyway?
I'm just thinking, is there anything else that we've missed news-wise? I don't think so. We had a couple of retirements, which I'll just mention.
Yep.
Ericsson, we've already mentioned because his car fell apart.
Yeah.
And Nico Hülkenberg retired on lap 32 because of overheating.
Right. That could be down to parts from the Marcus Ericsson car going into his car.
Possibly, yeah. So they will be only retirements, so despite the best efforts of driver A and driver B.
Okay, well, I'll run down the top 10.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton lucked into a win. Yes, he did luck into a win. Max Verstappen was second. Kimi Räikkönen was third. Daniel Ricciardo was fourth. Valtteri Bottas was a very quiet and lonely and boring fifth. Sebastian Vettel was sixth. Charles Leclerc was seventh. Grosjean was eighth. Magnussen was ninth. And Perez got the last point in 10th position. And I'm going to do the driver's standings. You're going to do the constructors, I think.
Okay. But before you do that, I just wanted to say, we didn't really mention them, but that was a great drive from Charles Leclerc. And my God, the Haas team scored points. What happened?
Yeah, they quietly got into the points, didn't they? And I feel like Charles Leclerc, I don't know what it is. He is the best of the rest, isn't he? Even though he's in a Sauber, I think he's proven he is clearly the best of the rest.
It's going to be fun next year with him in a Ferrari.
Yeah. Well, that is one thing I forgot to mention in qualifying, where he went out when it was even slippery, more slippery than it had been, and he still put in a faster time to get through to Q3.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were saying, come in. He goes, no, I want to do one more lap.
Yeah.
So
that was really good.
What do you think is going to happen if he starts beating Vettel?
Oh, Vettel will have to leave, won't he? Surely that's what happens, isn't it?
Might we see some hanky-panky?
I don't know where Vettel will go, though.
Bangs at dawn.
No, he'd just have to submit, wouldn't he?
Roll onto his back and just expose his belly.
Yeah. That's the way it's done, I think. But yeah, I thought he wasn't really on screen much. And they didn't, because there was such a good race at the very the front of the actual pack, then I don't think we needed to concentrate further down the grid. We had the top 6 battling out, and there was a lot of the time where they were all in shot, or most of them were in shot. Yeah,
that was pretty. It was weird. All we were really seeing was the top 6.
Yeah.
And then the bottom 4.
Yeah, as they repassed them again and again.
Exactly, yeah.
And there was a shot where I think we had Kimi Räikkönen, Daniel Ricciardo, Bottas, and Vettel. And then at the very back, you saw Charles Leclerc almost making it towards that pack as well.
Yeah.
And you thought, yeah, do you know what? He's properly hustling that car around. He knows how to drive that Sauber. And
he really is.
It's not a slouch at all. So maybe Kimi could get a few good results with that. That's boding well for next season. Anyway, right, the drivers' standings at the moment. We have Max Verstappen in 5th position on 234 points. Valtteri Bottas, the 237 points. So he could have overtaken him if he'd won that race. There you go.
Still Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. Kimi Räikkönen is still in 3rd with 251 points. Sebastian Vettel is still in 2nd position with 302 points. And Lewis Hamilton is the champion, as we already know, with 383 points.
Over on the constructors' side, in 5th place is Haas with 90 points. 4th is Renault with 114. 3rd is Red Bull with 382. 2nd is Ferrari with 553. And everyone at Mercedes is very happy because they get their bonuses because they are the constructors' champions with 620 of your Earth points.
Congratulations to them.
Well done. Where's my cup?
It's probably in the post somewhere.
Must be, yeah.
Okay, let's go on to our predictions that we had from last time out. So for Brazil, do you remember who you wanted on pole position or who you were guessing for pole position?
Does the Pope shit in the woods?
I take that as a no.
Correct.
So who did we have on pole position? It was Lewis Hamilton.
It was.
You went with Bottas, so you get no points. I went with Kimi. I don't know
so you
why.
get no points.
I get no points. For the race was won by Mr. Lewis Hamilton.
It was.
I went for Vettel to win the race. No points.
No points.
I can't remember if I was umming and ahhing about Verstappen winning. But
You were.
I was.
You were very umming and ahhing about it.
I was just as close.
You were.
And you went with Lewis Hamilton to win.
Hey!
So you get a point.
I get a point.
Look at that.
Hey!
In our 3rd column, we had the amount of DNFs. We had 2 DNFs this time.
2 DNFs, yes.
I went for 6, so I get no points.
No points.
And you went for 4, so you get no points.
No points. No point.
We also had a 4th column.
Mm-hmm.
And that was because Lewis Hamilton wrapped up the championship in Mexico, will he win any of the remaining races by the end of the season? I went with, no, who the fuck do you think you are? He ain't going to win a single thing.
It's true.
I get no points. You went, of course he will. You get 1 point.
Or to be fair, it was a binary decision. You know, if you went with no, I had to go with yes.
Yeah, this is true. But you still got a point. So you get 2 points from this race, mate. Well done. That means, hang on, let me go on to the top 10. Well,
you call him the top man with the supercomputers.
That's right. I now have 13 points because I scored no points this race, which is a shame. That's 2 races on the bounce. You now have 16 points.
Wow.
And do you know what? The turning point was in this season between me and you. It was
USA?
No, it was around Belgium. You started to score a lot more than me. The turning point was United States, but you were clawing it back all the way through. Very much like Hamilton.
Oh, everything's still to play for. And as is tradition, we will have at least one option on the final race, which is so outlandish. But if a person who correctly guesses it, they win all the points.
Okay.
Championship.
Okay, cool. So, where are we going next time out then?
Oh, we're off to Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
For the race which pays the most money, so they're allowed to have the last race.
That's right.
Basically. And this has been a race since 2009. And last time out in 2017, pole position was Bottas. And the podium was Bottas from Hamilton from Vettel with a fastest lap from Bottas. I'm sensing a bit of a theme from last time out. In terms of most wins, Mercedes have won here 4 times, Red Bull 3. And hell, I can give you the rundown. It was Bottas in 2017, Hamilton in 16, Rosberg in 15, Hamilton in 14, Vettel in 13, Kimi Räikkönen in a Lotus in 2012, and then Hamilton with a McLaren, and then Vettel with 2 Red Bulls.
Right.
So there you go.
So Vettel's never won here in a Ferrari, has he?
He has not. In fact, Mercedes have won here every year since 2014 in the hybrid era.
So Ferrari haven't won here at all?
No, they have not.
Lotus have won more here than Ferrari.
It's true. So's McLaren.
Flippin' hell! I think Lotus have got more chance of winning than McLaren at the moment.
It's true. There you go. There's our first column. If Lotus wins this weekend, the other person gets all the points.
Okay, so oh man, I get to go first again, don't I?
You do.
I don't like that.
Do you not?
I prefer it when you go first. But okay, pole position. I don't think it's going to be a Ferrari. Now I said that. I'm going to go with Ricciardo.
Ooh, you're thinking the Red Bulls might be another shot, eh?
Yeah, Ricciardo for pole position. What about yourself?
I would have gone with Ricciardo because I do think Red Bull are in with a very good shot. They do tend to go well at Abu Dhabi. But there's no way in hell I'm going to say driver A, who has his last chance of becoming the youngest ever pole sitter.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to do it, is he?
No, he's not going to do it. We're not going to hear the end of it until he doesn't do it, but he's not going to do it. So, I'm going to go with all reliable. I'll go with Lewis.
You go Hamilton, okay. Okay, and for the race, I'm going to go with... Verstappen.
Verstappen?
Yep. If Kimi hadn't have won in the United States, I would have gone with him.
Yeah.
And I was always planning on that, and he shocked me by winning the US Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Verstappen.
Okay.
I've written this down in pen.
You've written it down in pen?
It's in pen.
You know what I'm going to say?
Go on.
Just because I'm an evil bastard?
Yes.
I'll go with Kimi.
Ooh. I think that's the first time you've ever chosen him. Oh, man, it's his last race as well.
It's his last race for Ferrari. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. No, I've written it down now.
It's written down. It's like there's nothing you can do.
That's it. What am I supposed to do? Rub it out? Can't do that.
What is this? Pencil? This is an amateur hour, damn it.
I'm not a Russian in space. Okay, third column. I haven't even thought about third column.
We need something good for a third column.
Okay, right. So whose last race is it? It's Alonso's last race.
Well, it's quite a few. We've got it's Alonso's last race. It's Stoffel Van Dorn's last race.
Yeah.
It's potentially Hartley's last race.
Yeah.
It's potentially Stroll's last race.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. Sorokin, maybe. Ocon, yeah.
Who will come last on their last race?
Who's? How about just who comes last? Who finishes last?
Who finishes last?
Yes.
So what McLaren driver do you want?
We're talking completes the race, plumb last. Well, it's going to be a Red Bull. It's going to be a McLaren or a Williams.
Yes, it
only
is.
Out of 4.
It is. Oh, it's really hard not to say either Stroll or Van Dorn. I don't think Van Dorn will. He actually beat Alonso this time round as well.
Did, yeah.
Okay. I think... I want to say Stroll.
Do it then.
I want to say Stroll. I'm not going to, though, because I'm looking at Sorokin's name. But I want to say Stroll. Okay, Stroll. To come last. Finish last, Stroll.
Plum last, finish last, Stroll.
Stroll. Okay. Go on then. Who would you like to... Well, not like, but who do you think will finish last?
Ooh, who do I think?
Last
One
runner.
Last one. I'm just having a look here. I'm looking at the total results of the season to see who's finished worse. So Watkins and Stroll's been pretty bad as well. Has anyone finished lower than them regularly? Nah, it's going to be one of those two. Fuck it, I'll do Stroll. You went Sorokin, I'll go Stroll. No, you went Stroll, didn't you?
Yeah, I went Stroll.
I'll go Sorokin then.
You're going Sorokin.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, it's Alonso's last race.
It is.
What position will Alonso finish in?
Is this our fourth column?
This is our fourth column. There may be more.
There may be more. I reckon he'll DNF.
Oh, gonna DNF. And will he wave the flag? The checkered flag as well?
I think he might wave something.
Yeah. I think because they've been so bobbins recently, haven't they? They're not going to get a point.
Nah.
Points are gone. I think he'll finish 14th for his number. No, 15th. 15th. I think he'll finish 15th.
All right.
Okay. Any others you want to stick in there?
We need something that's so outlandish, but still plausible. But if it were to happen, the person who correctly guesses it would win all the points.
What do you think about when you first think about the 2018 season so far?
What do I think about when I think of 2018?
It's just grey, really, isn't it?
It is. It's quite grey. It's weird. It's not been a classic season, but it did, and it didn't even go down over wire even. So yeah.
No.
Yeah. But it was nice having two different constructors in with it for a while.
It was, yes.
Yeah, at least for a bit, it was a bit of a change rather than just seeing which Mercedes was going to win it.
Okay, Hamilton's got 10 wins, isn't he?
He does.
Bottas doesn't have any wins.
He does not.
But we can't just turn around and say, will he win? Because that's once again binary, isn't it?
I mean, if you were to say if Alonso, and this is really more for you because, you know, I've kind of won unless something outrageous.
How dare you?
It's true, but, you know. Yeah, all right. It's what it is. If you were to say something like if Alonso got a podium, you'd get all the points. Yeah. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about here.
Okay.
It's got to be outlandish enough that it's exceedingly rare and unlikely to happen, but it could theoretically happen.
Okay. So anyone out the top three teams to get on the podium?
So any driver not in one of the top three teams gets on the podium, you can have all the points.
Yeah.
I'll take that action, yeah.
Is that all right? Because that's 6 places there straight off.
That's fine. If on the podium is a non-Mercedes, Red Bull or Ferrari driver, you get all the points.
Okay. That sounds good. Come on, Charles Leclerc. You can do it. I have faith. Or Perez. Or anyone, guys. Honestly.
It could be anyone, yeah.
Yeah, anyone.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll write that down in a minute because that's like a sentence to write down, and I ain't doing that now.
That is. I'm actually just looking. Has anyone other than them? No.
We've had...
Oh, wait, no. Perez.
We've had Perez.
Perez in Azerbaijan.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
And that was it?
That was it.
It's just been them 3?
Yep.
That's so bad.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's really bad. We're going to have to create more steps up there now. we put all the points down to 10th place. Now we're going to have steps up to 6th at least.
The second podium maybe just a little bit lower.
Yeah. Like a kiddie's podium.
Yes.
It's slightly smaller than the main one and just sent off to the left a little bit.
Yeah. No, I'm down with that. And it's got like big, colourful kind of trophies.
And you imagine Vettel standing on the second step on that. He's like, "Yeah, I'm on the kids' table. Fuck, I don't like this. I want to be on the big one."
To be fair, he wouldn't be allowed though because he's one of the sick. He'd have to sit at the grown-ups table. But it'd be Alonso there.
And they don't get champagne; they get like Lucozade.
Yeah, Lucozade,
and
like some like maps. They've got like a colouring in thing they can do,
and some sweets.
Yeah,
them sweets that go around your neck.
It'd be a lot more fun for the main podium, wouldn't it?
And made to eat lollipops up there as well.
Yeah. I think we're onto something here.
There is something there, isn't there?
There is something. Maybe next season we should have, our third category could always be who wins the kiddies podium.
Yeah. And after the race, they just tucker themselves out and they're all left on the couch.
Yeah.
Couch. I'm not American. Oh, it's rubbing off now. Oh. On the sofa, I meant.
On the sofa, yes.
Don't know what came over me then.
Oh, you went all American for a second.
Yeah.
No,
screw them losers.
I think that works. Yeah. So, yeah. Will one of the kids make it onto the adults' table?
Yeah. Cool. All right, then I think we'll leave it there.
Yeah, probably for a good one.
Okay, cool. This will probably go out tomorrow, although once you've downloaded it, you've already got it, so there's no point in me telling you this.
It's true. That's really for my benefit alone. I appreciate it as well.
Yeah. That's only because it's been quite busy in my house and it's quite late now as well. So by the time I get this out, it will be tomorrow anyway. So you might as well just have it later tomorrow.
Yeah.
Once again, you're already at the end of it. So congratulations to making it this far. And you don't need to know this because you've already downloaded it.
You survived. It's like time travel, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of time travel.
Yeah. Yes.
You do something about that, don't you?
Oh yeah, I'm supposed to be recording the third one soon as well. Yeah, we do other shows. We've done Band of Brothers.
We did.
We've done From the Earth to the Moon.
Yeah. Are we going to do First Man, or is that not happening now?
I'd like to do First Man. I'd like to see it before I actually talk about it, though.
That would help.
Yeah, I haven't
It'd be
seen
a bit weird
it yet.
Otherwise. Okay, we should probably try and fix that.
Yeah. I'll try and work it out. I did actually go to an Odeon and they weren't even showing it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh. We will find out where it is screening for you, and you can go and see it.
Maybe I'll travel into the future and borrow it from someone, and then travel back and watch it.
Even better.
Yes.
Yay for time travel.
I also do the Flix Capacitor, where we talk about time travel movies. You do the Great Derelict.
Well, I sometimes do it. I've been a bit lax because I've been busy traveling around the world as definitely not an international spy or anything like that.
Yeah.
But hopefully, maybe this Tuesday, since you're not going to be busy like you usually are, we can record an episode.
Yes. Okay.
Yes. On We Are Bob.
Yes.
Yes. We have thoughts on the Bobbyverse.
Yeah.
If you want to know what that is, you should listen to The Great Derelict that's coming out next.
Okay, cool. I'm also doing Chunky Lab on Thursday. That's going to be live on mixler.com/RogueTwoMedia. And this very show should be live. I'm still not guaranteeing it, but it should be live on Mixler straight after the race when we record. So,
can you imagine if we'd have done this live with the Max Verstappen and Ocon thing?
Well, it'd either be no one there listening or just heated debate.
Yeah.
And it was heated enough, wasn't it?
It was. Well, I wouldn't say it was heated. It was mildly cozy. It was cozy debate.
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed it. Don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I enjoyed it. And once again, I'm glad that we didn't agree to disagree because that's
for losers.
Yeah.
But I would like to invite all the listeners that if you don't agree with us, A, you're wrong, but B, let us know how you're wrong by emailing us at boxboxbox@grandprixpodcast.com or tweeting us at grandprixpod.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. And go and tell other people how wrong we are and have them listen to us so they know.
Yes, sharing is caring.
It is.
That's right. So I think we'll draw it to a close now. That's the penultimate race all done and dusted. We're off to the final where the sun will set on this season, and then we can all go off and lick our wounds from this season and look forward to the next season.
Me.
Yeah. So thank you, Andy, once again for joining us.
Oh, it's entirely my pleasure, Oxford.
Top man. And yeah, that's it. So we'll see you for Abu Dhabi. So until then, ta-da.
Ta-ra.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that, especially if October has got a problem because 2.8 has become 1.9.